When you guys sit down and watch a review on this channel, you've come to know and expect that I really don't hold anything back. When we see something good on Monday Night Raw, I usually let you guys know that it was good. Now, more times than not, Monday Night Raw is awful every week, but when we do see something good, I let you guys know. When we see something good on SmackDown, which nowadays is a rarity, because SmackDown is just god-awful, when we see something good on SmackDown, I will let you know. When we watch NXT on Wednesday nights, 9 times out of 10, it will be a very, very good show. 9 times out of 10, it will be the best show on WWE TV for that week. When we see something good on NXT, we all pretty much gather around and we talk about how great NXT and their booking is. But when we do see that one bad, when we do see that one instance in which WWE Creative has us scratching our heads, it's in itself a rarity. And I'm going to bring this to your attention today because it did not make any sense to me. And it's not going to make any sense to me. And I hope WWE isn't doing this because she is the new flavor of the month. The women's division in NXT has been leaps and bounds better than anything on the main roster. Both Raw and SmackDown. They could take lessons from how NXT handles their women's division. Dating back to when Asuka was there, and Asuka pretty much had nobody to go up against. It was just Ember Moon and Nikki Cross. Peyton Royce was still on her way up. Billie Kay was still on her way up. When Bayley, Charlotte, Becky, Sasha, when they all departed, there was nobody. We all knew how good Ember Moon was, but she didn't really prove herself in the WWE ring. Now that WWE has taken a lot from what the Mae Young Classic was, and they're going to be building these women up over the next 12 months. NXT's women's division right now is at the top of its game. In comes Shayna Baszler, one of the biggest proponents of the Mae Young Classic. I've loved everything that WWE has done with Shayna Baszler so far. From the Mae Young Classic, building her up in a dominating fashion the way that they did in that tournament. It was good. WWE finally landed her a contract. She's on NXT. She made her debut last week. Couldn't ask for a better debut. It's exactly how I would have booked Shayna Baszler, playing up to her strengths as she gets caught up to everybody else. This week, WWE pretty much did the same thing. And Shayna Baszler looked very good again for a second week in a row. But what has me scratching my head is the simple fact that WWE, I feel already, is taking Shayna Baszler's name and what Shayna Baszler did in her previous stint inside the Octagon. And I have a feeling WWE is pretty much going to throw the world at Shayna Baszler just based on what she did previously before her start in the WWE. I am strictly against this. Strictly against this. I don't think anybody should come into the WWE based on past merits and be given the world. I don't think they should be treated any differently. I don't think that they should be pretty much pushed to the forefront above everybody else who's already been there. Shayna Baszler has proved nothing in WWE. All she is right now is a name from the Octagon, from MMA, and now she stepped into a WWE ring. She's stepping into a new realm, a new world. You can't give Shayna Baszler an NXT Championship women's title match just because she's Shayna Baszler. That doesn't work. And I know why WWE does things, and I want you guys to understand why they're doing it. And I want you to understand that for the first time in a long time, I do not agree with what NXT Creative is doing. You mean to tell me that there's nobody else on that women's roster worthy of an NXT Women's Championship match? This is where NXT Creative got lazy. They did nothing to focus their attention on the women's division and setting up an opponent for Ember Moon Royal Rumble weekend. They figured Shayna Baszler was the biggest name. Ember Moon just won this championship. So let's pair the two together and make a big marquee match for the women's division because we haven't done anything else. Asuka is not there. Peyton Royce and Billie Kay are pretty much on their way out. They've done everything that they possibly can for NXT without actually winning the NXT Women's Championship. Nikki Cross is still there. She's embroiled with Sanity and the Undisputed Era. Sanity's future is unknown. We don't know whether they're staying or going to the main roster. WWE hasn't presented anybody new in the women's division. Or they haven't even tried, I should say. We have Candice LeRae coming in, who just signed the contract. We have Abby Lath. We have Bianca Belair, who I hope to see very, very soon because I am incredibly high on Bianca Belair. WWE rumored to be bringing in Tessa Blanchard. WWE rumored to be bringing in, Santana Garrett and Toni Storm and Piper Niven later in the year when their deals or when their obligations are up with whatever promotion they're with now. Ember Moon doesn't have an opponent now. That's WWE's fault. That's WWE's lack of preparation. All because Shayna Baszler was successful in MMA does not mean she deserves a NXT Women's Championship match just based on what she did previously. And then of all things, WWE gives us a match with Lacey Evans and Aaliyah last night on NXT. Lacey Evans, who I'm not high on at all. I don't understand her gimmick. I don't like her gimmick or character. I think it's over the top. I think it's forced, and I think she tries too hard. In fact, the pin-up military gimmick that she does, she looks like she's a burlesque dancer. Not really my type of thing. I think it's over the top and forced. It doesn't come off as natural. I think it comes off as trying too hard. But then WWE kind of makes me say, I don't like Lacey Evans, but holy shit, she just took a microphone and she sounds better than half of the main roster. You give this woman a live microphone and you let her cut a heel-like promo going against her entire character, cutting down everybody in the women's division, pretty much calling out everybody but Shayna Baszler, only to get interrupted by Shayna Baszler and chased off by Shayna Baszler when she was actually having the biggest moment of her young career with that microphone in that arena last night. Shayna Baszler chases her away. Shayna Baszler finishes off what Lacey Evans started in the ring, chokes out Aaliyah. And then because Ember Moon wants a title shot, or Ember Moon wants a title match with Shayna Baszler, the champion, seeking out the challenger, all because you want to defend the women's locker room, you're going to put your title on the line against Shayna Baszler and you're going to be granted that match? So you mean to tell me Shayna Baszler can walk into NXT, choke out two women, barely get a win under her belt, and then be granted an NXT Women's Championship match? I love NXT, but I can't sit here and tell you that I agree with that. The matchup is intriguing. Don't get me wrong. The matchup is marquee. Don't get me wrong. The matchup is probably the biggest thing that WWE could do right now for that women's division until the other pieces fall into place. Don't get me wrong. But the simple fact that Shayna Baszler comes in based on past merits, does literally nothing, and is granted an NXT Championship match against Ember Moon, as a viewer and as a fan who knows what is going on and knows what he is watching and doesn't watch the product with rose-colored glasses on, I can't sit here and tell you that I agree with that. So for everybody that sits here and tells me, well, JD, all you do is complain. You never complain about NXT. There you go. Not everything NXT does is perfect. Not everything NXT does is going to sit well with me. Most of the time, they do it right. NXT is a promotion that is being booked the way I would book a promotion. But what they did with the women last night, it's not the way I do it. I think WWE has gotten lazy with Ember Moon as this champion. Now we're going to see what WWE comes up with at TakeOver Philadelphia. How do you present us Ember Moon and Shayna Baszler, with Shayna Baszler being in the company not even a month, being granted a title shot? How are you going to present that to us in any other way but Shayna Baszler winning the title? Unless your plan was for Ember Moon to be a transitional champion, to move her up to the main roster, and then have Shayna Baszler carry that division based on her name merit. Ultimately, to lose that title to Kairi Sane at WrestleMania weekend in a rematch from the Mae Young Classic. I think Ember Moon is better than that. Sorry for the cutaway there, guys. My mother called me. She just got back from Georgia. My brother actually moved down there. My brother Michael moved down there for work. He's going to be working at Emory College in Atlanta. So he's working and living right on campus. So my mom called me just to check in, and they got back early this morning. So she just called me. So sorry about that, but I pretty much got out everything I needed to say about the Shayna Baszler situation with Ember Moon. Let me know what you guys think about that down below. As far as everything else on NXT, that was the one thing that stood out on last night's show. Everything else was pretty much self-explanatory. Fabian Eichner continues to impress, man. If there's one guy, actually, there's three individuals that I want to see in 2018 that I want to see succeed, and I want to see more of. Fabian Eichner, I want to see Velveteen Dream, and I want to see Lars Sullivan. Those are the three big names for the men on NXT television. As far as the women go, you guys know I love Bianca Belair. I want to see more of her. I want to see more of Kairi Sane. And I hope that WWE has big plans for Candice LeRae, man. I think she looked great in the Mae Young Classic, and I want to see more of her. NXT is going to be very, very good in 2018. I just hope that this little blunder here with Shayna Baszler and Ember Moon presents itself in a logical way. Because right now I'm not really seeing what the point is outside of what I talked about. But this is your NXT review for last night's show. Thank you guys so much for sticking with me. Thank you for all the support. Follow me on Twitter at JDFROMNY206. Make sure you guys hit that subscribe button down below. I've been loving the sub rise lately, man. And no matter what people want to believe or not, I did not use anybody for sub gain. That is a complete crock of shit. We do everything on our own here, and we do everything through hard work and quality here. So thank you guys so much for all that. Hit that subscribe button and turn on that bell for all notifications down below. Thank you guys for supporting Harry's. Harry's.com/script. Shaved again last night, looking good. Harry's is the reason, man. If you guys want a great shave, if you guys want to look good, Harry's has got you covered, man. You go to Harry's.com/script. They're supporting the podcast all month long. You're going to get a free shave set, man. Razor handle, razor blade. You're going to get a razor blade protective case and shave gel. All you have to do is pay the shipping and handling, which is pennies, man. $2 or $3. They're going to ship it to you right to your front door. You're going to have the best shave of your life. You're going to thank me in the end, and you're not going to look at another razor ever again, man. Harrys.com/script for your free razor set. All you have to do is pay shipping and handling, man. Also, Audible is giving you guys 1 month free of their service, plus 1 free audiobook. That is for new listeners only of the podcast. So if you are a new subscriber, if you are a new listener to this show, to this channel, Audible is giving you 1 month free to try their service out and a free audiobook of your choice. Over 180,000 books to choose from. audibletrial.com/off the script. Make sure you guys take advantage of that, man. Great way to support the show for basically just listening to what I have to say each and every week, man. Show started off with Heavy Machinery versus Tino Sabbatelli and Riddick Moss, man. I love the team of Sabbatelli and Moss. I got high hopes for both of those guys. Heavy Machinery, man, you can tell when you're watching Heavy Machinery how much fun that they're having in the ring. Some people don't really like what Heavy Machinery is doing. They don't really get it. It's not their thing. But Otis is just having a blast in there, man. And Tucker Knight, my God, man, for a guy his size to be able to throw a drop kick like he does and be athletic as him, man, good shit. Heavy Machinery right now really isn't playing into anything right now at the top of the tag team division. It's not their time yet. Their time will come. But I think good things are to come for Heavy Machinery. Sabatelli and Moss here get the cheap victory. We had Otis do the Caterpillar, or Scotty 2 Hotty's Worm. You know, he did his version of the Worm. Does the Worm and then drops a big elbow drop. I think Nigel McGuinness said that was the most ridiculous thing he has ever seen. But I think Heavy Machinery has that natural charisma that will get them over with the fans. They have that natural charisma that will get them over with the casual fans. So I see good things to come this year for Heavy Machinery, man. But I really like the team of Sabatelli and Moss. They work well together. They look good together. I love the gimmick. The theme song is really good. It's really nice to see these two guys mix it up together. So at the end of this thing, Tucker Knight gets tagged in. He gets the hot tag. It's him and Riddick Moss. Shoulder tackle, hip toss. Like I said, Tucker Knight threw a beautiful drop kick for a big man. Goes up for the Stinger Splash. And Knight gets rolled up with Riddick Moss cheating his way to a victory here. Feet on the rope for leverage. Referee did not see it. Tino Sabatelli and Riddick Moss defeat Heavy Machinery. It looks like we got a little mini feud going on here with Heavy Machinery and Sabatelli Moss. One thing I do like that NXT is doing with the Undisputed Era is their backstage promos. I like that they're backstage. You got Adam Cole, the leader, positioned in the middle. He gives his spoken word. Then you got O'Reilly and Fish. They're the tag team champions right now. And I like the presentation of the Undisputed Era promos because they got them back there. The vibe is nice. They're talking about TakeOver. They got their theme music playing in the background, just playing just lightly under their promo. It's really good stuff. I really like that. I don't know if you guys noticed that. I don't know if you guys felt any differently about that, but I like that. We got Aleister Black challenging Adam Cole at TakeOver Philadelphia in an Extreme Rules match. That was made by William Regal last week. Adam Cole says that they tried to scare him with an Extreme Rules stipulation, but Aleister Black, he's not going to be an issue. The tag team champions say the Street Profits and ARP are fighting for an opportunity to get dropped by the tag team champions. Man, I would love to see NXT move Undisputed Era into a role where they slowly do start to take over NXT. I want to see more people, not an overabundance of people, maybe one or two different guys. I want to see an overabundance of people. Well, not an overabundance of people. I want to see one or two different guys actually get recruited by the Undisputed Era. I want to see it more than just Cole, O'Reilly, and Fish. I think 5 is a nice number. You know, I want it to be a little bit more fuller than it is. I think they got that vibe, that TakeOver vibe, that NWO-like vibe to them with Cole as the mouthpiece. I think it would be great. So hopefully we see something along those lines later on in the year. Lio Rush, he lost to Lars Sullivan last week, and he sent out some cryptic tweets saying that things need to change. You know, he's got to find his own heaven. You know, maybe they recruit Lio Rush. You know, what about Donovan Dijak? He might be coming on in. I don't know, man. So WWE right now got something good with Undisputed Era. I really like their promo package and their presentation when they're all together backstage, cutting a promo all together as a unit. Roderick Strong versus Fabian Eichner. This was actually very good for what it was. Fabian Eichner, like I said, one of the 3 guys I'm looking forward to seeing most in 2018, man. Fabian Eichner will be in championship contention by the end of the year. Mark my words. The guy is so goddamn good, man. He carries himself great, and I can't speak any more highly about Fabian Eichner. They constantly continue to bring up that he was in the Cruiserweight Classic, that he put on 30 pounds of muscle. He was a cruiserweight, just barely made the limit. Now he put on 30 pounds of muscle to compete in the NXT Heavyweight division. Going to be good things from Fabian Aichner, man. He put on 30 pounds of muscle, but he still moves around like he did in the Cruiserweight Classic. It's unbelievable. He went against Roderick Strong. This was a nice test. Roderick Strong actually ended up submitting Fabian Aichner here with a Walls of Jericho, or a Lion Tamer. He submits Fabian Aichner here, and he did it with the Stronghold, is what he calls it. So Fabian Aichner taps here after another solid performance against Roderick Strong. Roderick Strong then takes the microphone and he cuts the same promo that Lars Sullivan cut last week on Killian Dane. This time, we got Roderick Strong calling out Lars Sullivan. So we got some internal drama going on here with the undercard of NXT, which I like. We got Lars Sullivan challenging Killian Dane, and we got Roderick Strong wanting to prove himself against the monster Lars Sullivan. Gonna be good, man. Let's see what happens at TakeOver Philadelphia. I think we're gonna get Sullivan versus Dane at Philadelphia, and then Sullivan will then seek out Roderick Strong. Aaliyah versus Lacey Evans. Lacey Evans wins this one with a straight right to Aaliyah's face. Aaliyah charges from the opposite quarter. Lacey Evans met her with a huge right hand. She crumbled to the mat, 1, 2, 3. And Lacey Evans played her off as she was surprised that, her fist and the power of her fists, brought down Aaliyah. After the match, Evans takes the microphone, cuts a heel promo, which I was very impressed by. Says it's time for a real classy and powerful woman to clean house around NXT. She names Nikki Cross and Ember Moon by name. She did not mention Shayna Baszler. She mentioned Kairi Sane, but Shayna Baszler comes out and stares down and chases off Lacey Evans. This would have been completely terrible if Shayna Baszler destroyed Lacey Evans after such a great promo. But, Lacey Evans was having a nice moment there for herself for the first time in her career, only to be chased off by Shayna Baszler. Shayna Baszler to attack Aaliyah and choke Aaliyah out and then be granted a women's championship match, which, like I said in the beginning, it doesn't make any sense to me. Ember Moon, she chased off Baszler. She takes the microphone, and for the first time, I could wholeheartedly say that Ember Moon sounded really, really good on the microphone. Usually Ember Moon sounds forced. Usually Ember Moon sounds very scripted. She takes the microphone and dares Shayna to bully her like she has others. She wants to fight, but Baszler says she's not in her gear. So Shayna Baszler says, listen, I'm not in my gear. What do you want to do? We're going to have to wait for another day. Moon says that she's going to kick her ass and says to name the time and the place. Shayna Baszler then yells out from the stage, Philadelphia, I'll bring my gear. You just make sure you bring your title. So the match was made. Christy St. Android interviewed William Regal backstage after what transpired, and the match is made. Moon versus Baszler for NXT TakeOver Philadelphia. Ember Moon cut a very, very good promo. She looked very fierce in doing so. First time I could actually say Ember Moon looked very good on the microphone on NXT. Zelina Vega interrupted Christy St. Android and William Regal. Says that Johnny Gargano is a loser. Says that we should all agree with the Velveteen Dream. This is Dream's rightful spot. Gargano just lucked his way in. So William Regal doesn't want Gargano to put the number one contendership on the line against the Velveteen Dream. He would advise Johnny Gargano not to do so. So Vega is pressuring Regal into making this match. He don't have to pressure anybody, or she doesn't have to pressure anybody into making any match, because Johnny Gargano came out to the ring with a microphone and says that he's heard the talks, he's heard the chatter backstage, and some behind his back. He says that he's not a broken man, he's not a loser, and his wins haven't been flukes. Johnny then says this is his time. He's going to do what he wants, and he's going to go out there and try and prove everybody wrong. So he agrees to put his number one contendership on the line against the Velveteen Dream next week. I can't wait to see what those two guys do in that arena in Atlanta right before TakeOver, man. That's going to be a damn good match. And I can't wait to see Dream back in action after that great match against Aleister Black. Street Profits in the main event versus the Authors of Pain, man. The one thing I will say about this is I wish the Street Profits looked just a little stronger than they did here. I'm not going to harp on the fact that it was pretty much a squash match for 95% of it, because this is the Authors of Pain, and the Authors of Pain should go into every match dominating. But the Street Profits have been given a lot of TV time. They've been given a lot of hype, a lot of push, and they've been given very decisive victories. for the fact that they went up against the Authors of Pain, no matter how big the Authors of Pain are, and yes, they did get some offense in on the Authors of Pain, but it's like whatever they threw at the Authors of Pain, it was like the Authors of Pain were wearing bulletproof vests. Nothing worked. It's like the Authors of Pain were always one step ahead here. It was always the Street Profits fighting back in a defensive position here. The power and the strength of the Authors of Pain were just too much. It's like they took the Street Profits and everything that they did for the Street Profits, and they just crumpled them up and threw them away like they were a piece of garbage. Street Profits were manhandled here in what was a glorified squash match. And we got the Authors of Pain winning this match with a Super Collider and then the last chapter. Very, very, very easy win for the Authors of Pain, which really was surprising because of how the Street Profits have been portrayed on NXT television. It kind of really sets the Street Profits back right now. If they can't hang with teams like the Authors of Pain, you know, they aren't going to be in title contention anytime soon because they did not look good here at all. And it makes you wonder if the Authors of Pain are staying. For them to get a dominating victory like this and then go on to fight the Undisputed at TakeOver Philadelphia, it makes you wonder what the Authors of Pain are going to be doing next. I don't see WWE taking the titles off Undisputed anytime soon, and I could see the Authors of Pain losing just because of the numbers game at Philadelphia, and that would probably move them up to the main roster, and they would probably hold the Authors of Pain off TV until the Monday Night Raw after WrestleMania. I don't see what the Authors of Pain could do or what else they could do in NXT. They don't need another run at the championships. They don't need to be tag team champions. The Undisputed Era right now is the team you should be building towards. For the Street Profits here, they were manhandled. And everything, it seems like everything that WWE did to make these guys look like a credible threat to the tag team division was just wiped away last night. I'm not going to harp on it too much because the Authors of Pain should be that dominating, but at least make them look a little bit better than what they were last night. It was just a glorified squash match, and that's honestly what it was. Super Collider and a last chapter for the victory. AOP, easy win, number one contenders. They go on to fight the Undisputed Era at TakeOver Philadelphia. And that was your NXT, man. That was your NXT show. Good stuff, except for that Shayna Baszler thing. I don't understand it. I don't think Shayna Baszler's ready for an NXT Championship match. And the reasons I gave you, let that sit. Let me know what you guys think about that as far as the Women's Championship match at TakeOver Philadelphia between Shayna Baszler and Ember Moon. I'm going to get out of here, man. I have a new computer chair that I got to put together, and I'm going to take my time to do that, and then I'll record off the script for tomorrow with you guys. We're going to talk about the Roman Reigns steroid scandal that's going on right now, give you my thoughts on that, plus everything else leading up to the Royal Rumble, man. Hit that thumbs up. Follow me down below. Hit that subscribe button. Turn on that bell for all notifications. Follow me on Twitter at JDFROMNY206, and I'll see you guys on Friday for Off the Script episode 205. I'll talk to you guys later.